Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk about, is now the right time to be selling some properties? Before we get started, if you enjoy these videos and want to help us make more, please press the like button. Subscribe to our channel and press that bell for notifications so you know when we release new videos. Now let's get started. Now may be the best time to sell some of your properties. You know, in the past 6 months, we've sold a couple of properties and we've made quite a good amount of money on these properties that we've sold. So we've begun to look at, should we sell more of our properties? You know, in the last year, we've kind of shifted our focus a little bit from residential to commercial properties. And the reason for that is we were having such a hard time finding good deals on residential properties. Residential property prices have just shot up sky high. The prices are so far out of whack that it's hard to buy something that you can make money on by renting it. You know, if you pay way too much for a residential property, it can be very hard to eke out a cash flow. If you overpay for a residential property, by the time you pay the taxes, the insurance, and any other expenses you have, especially if you've got a mortgage, it's hard to make one cash flow. So we started looking around for other ways we can invest our cash, and we found a storage facility, which I did a video on it, and you can see that video up here. I'll put a link to it. And the storage facility has worked out incredibly well. We found out that we can make as much money renting a storage facility as we can owning several houses with a whole lot less work. A storage facility can be run with very little labor cost. It doesn't take a whole lot to run one, and it can be managed very simply, a whole lot easier than managing, 19, 20, 30 properties, because you don't have to deal with like water heaters and toilets and leaky sinks and vacant properties where you're having to pay for the utilities and you're having to mow the yard and take care of all that other stuff when it's vacant. A storage facility is all in one location. You have multiple sources of rent, a lot more rent, a lot smaller amounts, but a lot more of it. So vacancies affect you less. We've had a really good run with very little vacancies. The demand is so high for storage that as soon as something becomes vacant, we can re-rent it just like that. And it's not been a problem keeping our storage facility full. Since then, we have kind of decided that maybe this is the direction we need to go in. Given the fact that prices are really high on our rental properties, and we have had a lot of appreciation over the last 10 or 12 years that we've been doing this, and we've been concentrating on these markets where the prices have been really undervalued, and we've picked up properties for very little money, and now we're at peak pricing, or at least I feel like we're getting close to the top of the market, and we can get excellent prices out of our properties and walk away with large profits. This property that we sold today was actually one of the properties we really intended on keeping because we felt like we got a good deal on it and it was one of our better properties, and it makes a good income on rent. But we had the tenant approach us about selling the property to them, and they wanted to talk to us about our options. So we told them we would consider either owner financing it to them, or they could go to the bank and get their own loan. And as it turned out, that's what they did. They went and got their own loan, which was fine, but that's how we ended up walking away with a huge amount of cash on this property, is because we got it all at one time. Now, had we done owner financing, we would have spread that out over several years. Might have been a little bit better tax-wise for us, and we would get more interest because we would have definitely charged them more interest than they would at the bank. So it would have been a win-win for us. We would spread out that tax burden and get a higher interest rate, but we wouldn't get all the cash at one time. So in this scenario, we've ended up getting all the cash at one time, which means we really need to find a place to put that and invest that into some other property or an investment. So we're looking to do that pretty soon. So this property that we sold today is a property that we bought I think we bought it in 2016. We paid about $50,000 for it. It was not a normal property for us. This was a higher end property than we would normally buy. It's about a 2,200 square foot house, and it's a little bit larger. Had 3 bathrooms. I'm thinking we got to redo a remodel. We got 3 bathrooms and a kitchen, and needs flooring throughout. It needs all this stuff. I thought, wow, this is a huge project. We're used to doing houses with 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and a kitchen and a dining room and maybe a living room. So this one was one of our first really pretty good sized houses that we've ever remodeled. The person who was selling it was actually a friend of mine. He approached me about if I was interested in buying the house, and I said, well, it's really kind of out of what we would normally buy. It's probably going to be a little more expensive and a little bit larger than what. And he said, well, I don't know. He said, I know I can't sell it as is because it needs so much work that it wouldn't qualify for a loan. It needed a new heat and air system. He had it many years and had been renting it to somebody, and he got it back after renting, I think, 15 or 20 years to these people, and it needed a lot of love. so he knew he couldn't just sell. He could sell it as is for, to a wholesaler, or he could fix it up and sell it himself. But he didn't want to take the time and spend the money to do that. So he said, look, if you want to buy it, he said, I'll be glad to sell it to you. I'd rather sell it to you than just any old wholesaler. And I said, well, it may be something that we can do. I don't know. It's probably a little bit more than we have money right now. He wanted $50,000. We didn't have $50,000. And he said, why don't we just owner finance it? He said, you can just make payments to me. And I said, well, hey, if you can work out a deal with that, we may be able to do this. So that's what we did. We owner financed it. We did I think it was like a 3-year loan, something like that. It was really short term. And we were able to come up and pay it off really quickly and pay him some interest over that time. So that's kind of how we got into this property. We got it. We put a lot of our cash that we had. We spent about $20,000 fixing it up. I mean, we spent like $5,000 on a new heat and air system. So we put a lot of money into it pretty quickly. And we used most of the cash we had on hand to do all the repairs, and while paying him over those 3 years to get it paid off. We fixed it up in a month or 2, got it rented out, and we've had it rented ever since. I've not really had any problems keeping that property rented, and it's been a good money maker for us. In fact, I looked up the figures, and gross rentals, we've made $86,000 in revenue in the last 6 years that we've owned it. So that's a pretty good return. And of that, about 40 something thousand, I think 43,000 was the net profit after repairs and other things that we've done. So either way, we've done pretty well on the property. We've definitely got our money back out of it. And then when we sold it today, we walked away from the closing table with $258,000. So over $250,000 we walked away with. That's pretty impressive. That's probably has to go down as one of the better deals we've ever made. And so this came along, and it just happened to be one of those things. It's about being creative. It's about having timing, finding a solution to a problem. My friend wanted to get rid of this house. We didn't have all the cash to buy it and fix it up. So, he said he would owner finance it so we could buy it, and we would use our cash to fix it up. Worked out for everybody. He got the property sold. We come in and fixed it up, got it rented. We've made profit on it over the years, and we've sold it now to someone else who was the tenant there. And they're going to live there, and they're going to enjoy the house, hopefully. So, it's really been an interesting ride. We have other properties that we've sold. We sold a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath house a few months ago for like $65,000. This one was in need of a lot of repair. We bought the house a few years ago thinking that we were going to go in and fix it. We paid, I think, around $25,000, 22, 23, somewhere in there. I don't know, somewhere in the low to mid 20s is what we paid for the house. But we thought that the tenants that were in there would move, and you know, when they moved out, most tenants don't stay very long. They stay on average, you know, 2 to 3 years. It's pretty average. These tenants kept paying us and never gave us really any problems. But the property needs, you know, needed a new bathroom, new kitchen, it just needs to be remodeled completely, and new flooring and all kinds of stuff throughout the house. Needs a lot of repairs. There was a couple of roof leaks we had to fix and some minor things here and there, but overall the house didn't really cost us that much to operate it, and these people were paying rent on time every month. We just never had a problem with it. And I had a guy call me up and said, "Hey, I want to buy you the property," and he said, "Would you sell this property?" And I said, "Well, yeah, you know, here's what I got to have for it." And I said 65 because I really didn't care whether I sold it or not. And he's like, "Okay, I'll buy it." And so he bought it. And I know it, and I said, "Look, it needs some work, it needs this." "Okay, that's fine, I'll send somebody to look at it." And this guy was from out of the country. He bought it, he lives in Australia and was investing over here. Crazy stuff. But anyway, he sent some people over to look at the house. They looked at it, they made their estimates, they did whatever they had, come back, said he was good with it. He bought it, we closed on it. It's a good deal. Good deal for us, good deal for him. He's walked away with a property that he can fix up and really make a lot of money on. Now, in order to get in there and fix it up and flip it, he's going to have to evict the tenants that are in there. You know, we could do the same thing. I just didn't want to do that. Our whole game was to be in a rental business and make the income from it. We're not in the short-term flipping game usually, so it's all on how you want to make your money. But cash flow's good, but selling also is good at some point. You know, these big home run type deals, they work out pretty good too. So it's good to have a little bit of a balance there, and we've learned that over the last few years. We've been able to buy houses and then occasionally sell one here or there to allow us to go into a better deal or a bigger deal. Sometimes that's what you need to move up a notch, kind of, is to sell off something and then buy into something bigger. Going forward, we probably are going to try to look more commercial, and we would like to find some more storage facilities to buy. And we've also thought about expanding the existing storage facility. And for those of you who haven't been following, we bought a storage facility. It's got some extra land with it, and we've run into some snags on that. So, and I'll go into that in another video, but we may end up trying to expand the facility again. We've kind of put that on hold, so we'll see what happens. But if we don't do that, we may buy another facility. Who knows? We've got some cash to work with, and we're going to try to put it to work for us. We're looking at maybe investing more along those lines. And because we're in the top of the market, we feel like if we could sell some of these properties at a high price and take that money and move it over into a commercial investment, might be the time to do that, and it might make sense. So stay with us on this journey, and we're going to do, I'll be doing videos letting you know kind of what's going on. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button. And if you'd like to see more, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit the bell for notifications so you know when we release new videos. And if you'd like more information on real estate investing, go to retirerichwithrealestate.com. Until next time, I'm Paul Price, teaching you how to retire rich with real estate.